I'm not passionate about cleaning. I'm passionate about helping people find balance in their life. I know that all the homes that are getting cleaned right now, we have 14 jobs, 15 jobs today on the schedule. 15 people can go out and hang out at the beach with their kids this weekend because they're not going to sit at home and clean their house.
This is the How to Quit Working Show. Jeff Steinman believes entrepreneurship is the only true path to freedom. That's why he created the How to Quit Working Show, where you'll hear stories, insights, and inspiration from lifestyle fanatics who left their soul-sucking 9-to-5 job forever. Now, here's your host, author, entrepreneur, and ultimate lifestyle fanatic, Jeff Steinman.
Hello and welcome to the How to Quit Working Show. Today we're going to talk to Jamie Kalaga, and Jamie is just really awesome. She's amazing. She's so passionate about what she does, which is she has a business that she cleans people's houses. And, you know, over in the How to Quit Working Circle, we were having a conversation about franchises. And what I said was, you know what, I think we need to talk to more franchise owners. So Jamie is the first of many franchise owners that we're going to talk to in the near future on the How to Quit Working Show, because I think franchising is an option that needs to be on the table when you're working a job and you're trying to figure out how you're going to start a business, what business you're going to start, what that's going to look like, how you're going to go about it. All those things, franchises is one of many options to consider. They're not right for everybody. But I did want to bring you some information about franchises and the ups and downs and the ins and outs. And hopefully this interview with Jamie of Two Maids and a Mop will be helpful for you. But before we get to that, I want to remind you that we've got registration now open for the Shift program. Now, Shift is a mastermind community of like-minded people, freedom fanatics, who are ready to quit working and start a business. Now, we created Shift because we know that you need a community. You need to be around other people who have similar goals and aspirations and think the same way that you do. People that just want they want life to be everything that it possibly can be. And they don't believe in settling for less. And that's why we call you freedom fanatics. I'm a freedom fanatic. Heather Osgood is a freedom fanatic. And if you're listening, whether you use that name to describe yourself or not, you're probably a freedom fanatic. And the only way to get what you want out of life is to be around other people who share your goals and aspirations. You know, the analogy that I like to use with this is it's just like if you have kids, you're probably pretty particular about who your kids hang around with, who they become friends with. You know that when they go to school, they can either become friends with some of the A students, or they can become friends with the F students, or anything in between. And then, you know, the same goes with the kids who are good and the kids who are maybe not behaving as well as they should be. You want your kids to be around the right people, because you know that if your kids hang around the right people, they're going to be good kids. If they hang around the wrong people, they're going to be bad kids. And it's no different for adults. Like, why? You know, this is one of the things that mystifies me. Like, why would we think it's any different for adults? If you hang around people who work jobs and live mediocre lives and say, someday I'll do this, someday I'll launch my business, someday I'll actually enjoy my life, someday I'll quit this job, then you're going to be one of those someday people. If you hang around with people who are actually taking action and doing it, well, then you're going to be taking action and you're going to be doing it. And what you need is to be around those people, and that's why we created Shift. In Shift, you get a strong community of like-minded people who you can interact with on a daily basis, however often you need to. Whenever you need that bit of motivation, you need that bump, you need that accountability, you need somebody to say, hey, you said you were going to do that. Did you do that? If you're really ready to get serious, go over to howtoquitworking.com/shift and join the Shift program. Heather and I are so excited about this. Go over to the howtoquitworking.com/shift. You can see everything that you get with the program, and you can join as well. So I really encourage you to jump into that, because you don't want to keep hanging around with the F students or the D students. All right, now, without any further ado, let's get to Jamie of Two Maids and a Mop. She's going to talk about her experience with a franchise. Jamie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. One of the things that we're doing lately on the show is we're talking to franchisees, because we've got a lot of folks out there listening who want to quit their job and start a business. And franchising is a model that is not right for everybody, but there are some people that it's a great fit for. Tell us just a little bit briefly about what your business is and what you do.
Okay, so I own Two Maids and a Mop in Tampa, Florida.
Two Maids and a Mop. I love the name.
yes, it's so exciting and it's so fun. So we were actually their first franchise. They had 12 corporate locations. And I was actually my own little cleaning company called Collegiate Cleaning, and I can give you a story on that at some point.
Cool.
But it wasn't going as well as I wanted it to, and we were able to merge with Two Maids and a Mop because what I was lacking was systems and policy and structure, because I was so busy working in the business, I could never work on the business. So when we merged, I got everything that I needed. So it flowed very nicely for me.
Wow, very, very cool. So I was going to ask how many people are in your company, but it's called Two Maids and a Mop. So I'm assuming there's two of you?
Two go into the home, but because we have followed the systems and structures, we actually have close to 7 teams now. So that would be almost 14 staff that we have, and we actually launched. This is a year. Today is like a year. So fabulous!
Awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Very cool. Now tell us a little about so before you started your other cleaning business, what were you doing before then?
Okay, so I have my PhD in counseling. So I have my own practice, a full-time professor, doing all these fabulous things that I love. And there is a company called College Hunks Hauling Junk. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
College Hunks Hauling Junk. Okay.
So they have a side business called College Foxes Packing Boxes. Don't laugh again. So what I did as like a life coach was I went in and I looked at this packing boxes business that they had on the side, and I said, hey guys, what complements John Green Removal and Moving, which is their primary company, is cleaning. Why don't we start a cleaning company? So while I was doing all these other fabulous things in my life, I suddenly now owned a cleaning company. I knew nothing about it. I literally went to Walmart, bought a broom, bought a vacuum, and said, okay, I need to find someone that's on summer break and I need to hire them to start cleaning. And that is literally how it started. So we went from College Foxes Packing Boxes to College Foxes Cleaning. And
that doesn't rhyme though.
Right. I tried to keep the College Foxes. Let me tell you that when I started getting calls, it was for my nude maid service. And here I am, a life coach, a doctor, and people are calling me for my nude maid service because they're thinking College Foxes Cleaning. Fabulous. So I freaked out, and I was like, I told my partners, I said, we need to change the name of this company right now.
Because they want us to
apparently there is a market. Right. Apparently there's a market for, in case anyone out there wants to start their own company.
Well, you had two choices, right? You either had to change the name or change the company.
Right. Or change my clothes. That was real.
Save on wardrobe and...
Right, I know, right. So at least I wouldn't have a big uniform bill because, so, that's what I was thinking. So we did end up changing our name to Collegiate Cleaning, which we wanted to follow that same college hunk collegiate type of model. And so I found myself extremely overwhelmed because I'm doing the marketing for the new business. I'm running a company that I have no clue of anything about. I'm thrown into this cleaning company. And then to survive and to help my family survive, I'm still a full-time professor. I still have a coaching business. I'm doing all these crazy things. So I knew it was finally at the point when I met Two Maids and a Mop that I had to make my own business decision. And that within myself. Do I want peace of mind, or do I want to keep living this way, just on the Ferris wheel, not getting off, not being happy, crying all the time? And that's when I said, as much as I don't want to give my baby away, this cleaning that I've worked 2.5 years for, it's not going anywhere. And it was actually the best business decision for me, in my personal life and my business life, to step off of what I was doing and jump onto the franchise wheel. And that's what I did.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about what was different. What did you get from the franchise that you didn't have otherwise?
So I think a lot of people, when they start their own companies, we find that we get so wrapped up in the day-to-day of the business that we can't work on the business. And working on the business is setting the system, setting the policy. What is the structure? How does this work? You know, I found myself out there cleaning because employees weren't showing up. I found myself trying to figure out how to do scheduling and all these things that you have to do to get the business to run, but I wasn't able to do the bigger things, the bigger picture things. So what Two Maids had brought to me was the bigger picture things that I needed, which is, you know, their model. That's what you're buying, their model.
Sure.
So and that's sort of, and two, and I think like a tip that I would give, you know, people is that when you buy a franchise, remember you're buying it for the systems, you're buying it for the things in place. So once you obtain the franchise and you purchase it, don't try to put all your crazy spins on it and try to make it your own. Yeah, you can kind of culturize the office and things like that, but the systems are proven to work. That's why you bought it. So try not to go outside of the system. And that's what we did. We stuck to the system. And within the first year, I mean, we did $300K in revenue, and I'm pretty damn proud of that.
As well you should be.
Right. So I think it's just a matter of really remembering why you're purchasing what you're purchasing and sticking to that model.
That's such a good point. And, you know, it sounds like you read the E-Myth. I can tell by some of the words that you use by Michael Gerber.
Yes.
It's so funny because you could always tell when somebody has read that book. I'm going to link it up below. It is probably my second favorite business book in the entire world. But
it's great.
And I highly recommend to our listeners that you read that book. Now, one of the things I think you made a really good point. You're like, don't buy a franchise and then go in and try to change everything. I mean, I think your point is that it's there and it works for a reason. So if you go in there trying to change it, you might break something and it's not going to work as well. And I think maybe the comparison there is, would you buy a BMW and then go in there and start ripping the leather seats out and putting your own fabric in the BMW? I mean, that seems kind of silly, but I think that's kind of what you would be doing if you buy into a franchise and then start trying to do things yourself. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree with that. That's a great point. I think I'm going to have to use the BMW in all of my, in all of my events now. I'll give you 10% of royalties off that. Keep franchising right here over the phone.
I'll send you my address over Skype.
Okay. But that's exactly what it is. And I think, you know, people a lot of times, when you have something that you've created as your own to start out with, like, you've put so much energy and so much time into it. Like, you know, for example, with the cleaning business that I had, I'm what you call a conversion franchise. I'm going into something that was my own and I'm merging into something, you know, bigger than that's similar in the field, right? So, you know, you put all this passion and all this energy and time into doing everything that you can. You put in all this sweat equity, and then you get that feeling like, I'm giving this up and I'm never going to be able to franchise. But you have to take a step back and you have to say, how long would it take me to get this up and running? Mm-hmm. How long would it take me to come up with these systems and this model? Do I want to spend the next 15 years of my life just trying to get to break even? It's going to take my peace of mind. It could rip apart my family. So I think, you know, if you are contemplating a franchise, and maybe what's holding you back is that you don't want to convert or that you don't want to give something up, really look at all aspects of your life and see it. Sometimes, you know, they say your ego is not your amigo. I truly believe in that.
I love that. I've never heard that before. Right? Your ego is not your amigo.
Your ego is not your amigo. And I think that you have to put your ego aside and you have to look at your inner self and you have to look at everything around you and see if it's it's worth that risk. And in my case, it was. So
absolutely.
That's my story.
Yeah, definitely. And you're sticking to it. What are the downsides? What are the downsides to franchising?
The downside. Right, I guess it would be, that you are purchasing certain policies and structures and systems, and you do have to stay within those limits. So can you put a little spin on things here and there? I think, yes, you can, but it's within the realms of what somebody else has come up with. Another downside, I think, is with some franchise, you have to deal with third parties sometimes. So, for example, let me give you an example of Two Maids. So, Two Maids and a Mop, I have their systems, their policies, their structure, fabulous. But now let's say I need to buy uniforms. Well, they have a third party that I go through. A lot of times you can't pick and choose where you get your uniforms or where you get your products. With Two Maids, we do have a little leniency, but with all franchises, a lot of times the third party vendor has been designated for you. So you're going through that, and that can be frustrating at times, dealing with a third party, because when you bought support, you bought it from the corporate. You're not buying it from the uniform store. So those people might not be the communicators that you want or the people that you want to deal with. So I think that those are huge hurdles. And then there's royalties. So you bite your tongue every 2 weeks when those royalties go out. And in the beginning, when we're making, January, and I'm just, let's just, make a few bucks this month. Come on. And then I see, $500 in royalties come out, let's say, for 2 weeks. At that time in my life, $500 is everything to me. So it's my God. So, you take a deep swallow and then you're like, oh my God, I'm giving all my hard-earned money away. But when you step back and you look at where you came from, you're coming from the corporate world. Yeah, you made some more money, but maybe every day you're ripping your hair out. You're going home and you're crying, So you're paying for that peace of mind. You are paying for the flexibility. You are paying for the ease. And that, and for me, and I think for a lot of people, it ends up being worth it when you put it in perspective like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, so what happens when and I think, you talked about all of the good stuff and all the great stuff that comes with being a franchisee. And then we talked a little bit about the fact that it's not free. It comes with a cost. And it sounds like you feel like that's worth it. And that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people have to stop and assess.
Sure.
How much are you willing to pay to leave the corporate world? How much are you willing to pay for that peace of mind?
Do you think a franchise is right for everybody?
For everybody? No. I don't think so. I don't even think owning your own business is right for everybody. You have to have a certain personality. You have to be a certain go-getter. You have to be able to, no. So I don't think it's right for everybody. No.
Excellent. So what, if you have a question or a concern about your business, is there somebody at the franchise you can call?
Yeah. So for us specifically, we get to go to corporate, because, you have to look into the franchise you're buying. Do they already have, like, for example, a Molly Maids or a Mary Maids, right? They have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of franchises. You're probably not going to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, my employee was just hit in the car. I've never faced this. What do I do, to the CEO? Mm-hmm. Right now at Two Maids and a Mop, because we purchased something much smaller. We were the first franchise. We have that flexibility to pick up the phone and call the CEO and say, hey, what do we do here? So I value that. So I think, you have to know your own personality. Who do you want to be communicating with? Are you okay? I think that's important. Are you buying a larger franchise or a smaller franchise? Now, this franchise is growing, and I'm sure things will change, and I'm going to have to be able to be flexible and adapt to that. But in our situation right now, I can literally call the CEO and just be like, hey, what's your advice on this? So, in our case, for me, that works. I love that type of relationship.
Yeah, that sounds great. And somebody who has a tremendous amount of experience in that specific business. We talked to the founders of Pino's Palette. Are you familiar with them?
No. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, it's a great company. It's they're a franchise all across the U.S. and it's a place where you can go and you can have parties and drink wine and paint. So you get to have this creative experience while you drink wine, and it's a lot of fun. But they are one of the things that really impressed me about them is that they were very intent on providing a lot of support to their franchisees.
Absolutely.
So you make a really good point in that that's something that you should consider when you're deciding on a franchise, is how much support will you get. Yeah.
Yep, and you're paying for that support.
Sure.
So remember that too, okay? So it's not just a one way, okay, great, you gave me this business, okay, I'll just pay you royalties because now I have peace of mind. No, don't forget what you get in return. You're giving these royalties every so many weeks. You're getting support. That's why you buy a franchise, because when you go do it on your own, you don't get support. You're calling mom, who you haven't talked to in 6 months, and you're crying on the drive home. What do I do? And she's like, don't ask me. I told you not to do this anyway. So I think that, and that's the difference. You own your own business. You're your own support system. You can build little networks here and there with other people, but it only goes so far. When you purchase a franchise, you are buying support. Use that support. Call them, knock on their door, email them, ask questions. Everything you need is right there, and that is a huge benefit to a franchise.
Awesome advice. Jamie, tell us about your life outside the franchise. Are you still teaching? Are you still life coaching?
I do. Sometimes, yes, I do. I don't know how I can tell you how I balance. I can tell you that. But yes, I still do a little bit of teaching. I still have my little practice part-time on the side because I'm passionate about it. I think, I'm not passionate about cleaning. I'm passionate about helping people find balance in their life, find relief in their life. And I know that when we go into a home and we clean, I know we're doing that. I know that all the homes that are getting cleaned right now, we have 15 jobs today on the schedule. 15 people can go out and hang out at the beach with their kids this weekend because they're not going to sit at home and clean their house. And I am so damn passionate about that. I can't even tell you because I love that. I love motivating people. I love them to be a family and to just be together. And a lot of times we just do meaningless stuff. Because it's what you know what I mean? Okay, well, we have to clean the house because that's what you do on Sunday. You do laundry and you clean the house. Don't waste your whole Saturday. I digress all the time, but that's when I'm passionate about coaching, so I still do that. I'm passionate about the underlying why for cleaning. That's why I do that. I teach at a university because I love to see people grow and just achieve their dreams. And actually, I couldn't find balance at one point. So, I had shut down probably, I'd say 2 years ago. I completely shut down. I was doing all these things. I couldn't balance anymore. I didn't know where I was going.
What do you mean by shut down?
I was crying all the time.
Okay.
I was crying all the time. I didn't know the direction I wanted to go. Nothing was balanced. I found myself networking for my business, okay, which is something a lot of times when you buy a franchise, you don't have to do. You don't have to do tons of networking because they have a lot of systems in place for clients to be attracted to you. Mm-hmm. So I didn't yet have that. And so I would find myself networking at 7 o'clock in the morning, working in the business all day, trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. And then I'm going out at night at these 9 o'clock PM events, trying to get clients. There's these drunk people around me. I'm like, what am I doing here? And I realized I have 2 small boys at home. And they are literally laying in bed with dad right now, and I'm not giving any time to my family. And I was so crushed and so hurt, so I did what the obvious person does, and I shut down and I wrote a book.
Cool.
So I wrote this book and ended up, long story, it took off, did fabulous, but in the book, I was able to teach people work-life balance because I said, I'm not the only one that's going through this. I know that. I want to share this with some people. And so as I was writing, it was also like a therapy for me because I figured out how to balance, how to say no to people and not feel guilty about it, and really how to take my time and my life back. So I still do a lot of little things, but I'm not doing it necessarily for income. I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it, and I truly, truly love what I do.
Amazing, amazing stuff. What's the name of your book so we can link it up below?
Oh, awesome. It's The Superwoman's Guide to Super Fulfillment.
The Superwoman's Guide to Super Fulfillment. So, Jamie, franchises aside, everything aside, what is the biggest piece of advice that you want to give to our listeners?
So it is my theory is that you have to have three things in your life, which is peace, across the board, peace of mind, living within your values, and a piece of cake, which is the little fulfillment and the fun that you get every day. So that's what I would say: peace of mind, and a piece of cake. So make sure you're within all those three, and I think that you'll find a very fulfilled life, no matter what direction you choose to go.
A piece of mind and a piece of cake. A piece of cake sounds delicious to me right now.
It does, actually. I'm thinking wine and painting. They need to add some cake, and I'll be there.
I think so. You should Google it. I'm sure they're in your area. Jamie, awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing your advice. Where can we get more information about you and your cleaning business and all that kind of great stuff?
You can go to our Two Maids website at twomaidstanpa.com, or you can go to mindfulrehab.com. Either one, you'll find out info.
Excellent. twomaidstanpa.com or mindfulrehab.com. Yep. We'll link all that up below. Jamie, thanks so much for being on the show. Thanks for sharing all of this advice. I love that folks go out and they learn things through a lot of hard work, and then they come on and share so generously and so freely on the show. So thanks for coming on. Stay in touch. Let me know how things go for you, and I wish you the best of luck in everything you pursue.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Isn't it inspiring to just listen to successful business owners talk about their business, talk about what they've learned, what they love about it, what's worked well for them, what hasn't worked well for them? If you like that community and you like being around people who are successful and people who have the same goals as you, go over to howtoquitworking.com/shift and join the Shift program. I cannot wait to see you inside. I cannot wait to build a deeper relationship with you and be able to be part of your success. And I know Heather cannot wait either. So go to howtoquitworking.com/shift, jump into the Shift program. I will see you there, and I will also see you on the next episode of the How to Quit Working Show.
Thanks for joining us on the How to Quit Working Show. Tune in next time when we'll talk to another amazing person just like you who is now living the ultimate life of freedom and doing it on their terms. If you want to learn how to quit working and get these episodes delivered directly to you, visit howtoquitworkingshow.com.